I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down. I feel my heart start to tremble in whenever you're around. Whenever you're around. Oh, baby, when I see your face, mellow as the month of May. Oh, darling, I can't stand it when you look at me that way. When you look at me that way, I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down. I feel my heart start to tremble in whenever you're around. Whenever you're around. Oh, darling, when you're near me and you tenderly call my name.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, hanging out with two of my favorite musicians. We've got all the way to the end here. I've got my good buddy, amazing musician, producer Eric Krasno, and the amazing artist, singer, songwriter Maggie Rose. And we're in Nashville, Tennessee right now. So excited to have you both.
So excited to be here with
great
both
to be
of you.
here.
You guys have actually worked together and you
Yes.
performed
Yeah.
together, right?
Yes, we have.
We played Love Rocks.
Love Rocks. We wrote
been other times.
remotely over the pandemic because I've
Yeah.
been a big fan of Kraz for a long time. And
As have I. Yeah, so we're both here,
Yes.
right?
Mutual.
Well, I'm a
appreciation.
fan of both of you guys, so it's mutual. But yeah, Maggie and I met, I guess, like right in the beginning of the pandemic. We were talking, and we ended up like working on writing a little bit and hoping to do more.
You were someone that during the pandemic, I felt so isolated from other musicians, and I reached out to a lot of people just to be like, hey, I love what you're doing. I know that we all kind of feel like we're on our own little island, and
Totally.
you were someone who gave so much back to me for reaching out. You know, guidance with the project I was working on and how I was going to release it, throwing this podcast together, which was great source material for me interviewing other people because you host so well.
Oh, thank
but
you.
it was kind of cool to become close with someone in a time where we couldn't physically be together.
Well, hey, I'll go into that too. Eric and I are hanging out in Nashville right now, really, because of the pandemic as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've known each other almost 30 years, but it was during the pandemic. Musicians were thinking about other stuff besides going on the road. And I personally, selfishly wanted to learn more of Kraz's vibes and guitar stuff, so we made a guitar course together.
As soon as the pandemic hit, it was the same kind of thing where I started doing the podcast, but also in that same way, I was just reaching out to people, figuring out different ways to collaborate. And I mean, there was a lot of silver lining to us all having that time and like figuring out different ways to be creative at home, but also collaborate in this weird, kind of internet age. And, Marty helped me out a lot in kind of navigating and figuring out ways to utilize the internet.
So Maggie, I know you guys have done some writing together. What do you have going on? You have an album about to come out.
This afternoon, I'm getting it mastered at a spot in East Nashville, and I'm so excited. I have to put my big girl pants on and promote and say that it's like the most excited I've ever been about what I'm doing, which is hard to do, just the same way It's hard to have used the internet over the pandemic and just slide into people's DMs and let them know how much you respect them.
Were you born with like I mean, it's just an analogy, but were you like born with a microphone in your hand?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a picture of me before I could speak full sentences, just wailing, and video just of me kind of like experimenting with my voice, and I wish that someone had put a guitar in my hands or whatever, but I'm lucky enough that even though my family is not necessarily musical, they're brilliant in many other ways, they loved hearing me sing.
Aww.
And I could feel there was a unifying power about my voice that would make people gather or make adults that were loud at a dinner party quiet down for a second. And it was a powerful thing to feel too. So there was power and camaraderie and community that came from me singing. And my parents were driving me to perform with a Bruce Springsteen cover band on the Jersey Shore when I was 15, 16, because that was the first avenue that I had into playing at bars and playing for people who were trying to escape into music. Other than that, I had just had theater and church and not stuff that focused more on the technical perfection of singing. And then when I got to that realm, I realized that that's 10% of it. You have to connect and be believable and be vulnerable, and that was a whole new echelon of music.
Did you have like an artist or even like a moment or in a performance that you saw that kind of made you relate and be like, I could do that, or I want to do this and this to be my life?
Yes, my parents played really good music.
Yeah.
And Mary Chapin Carpenter was someone that I got to see who has just really quality lyrics. And I think that's when I kind of realized the power of the story. And then I also grew up in the age of the diva. It was like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, all these belters that were being celebrated commercially. I saw women everywhere who were valued and put on a platform for just their vocal abilities.
I was going to show my age, but when I was a kid, I would carry around records in my backpack, and I would go to my friends' houses and want to play like whatever I was into. Like Thriller was like the big one.
My first album was Thriller.
Thriller.
First cassette was Sheryl Crow, All I Want to Do.
What was your first concert?
First concert, Shania Twain.
That must have blown you away.
I was
great
6 years old.
Wow.
And she was just, Let's go, girls.
Anyway, Shania Twain, that is epic. What was your first concert?
So my brother is like 6 years older than me, 5.5 years older, and he was a Deadhead when he was a teenager. So when he was 18 and I was 12 and 13, he would take me to like Grateful Dead shows. I saw Hot Tuna early on. That was like I think I was like 10 or 11, and it was at the Capitol Theater. And then I actually played with Jorma there maybe a year ago and told him like that whole story of my first concert experience was seeing him and Jack Cassidy like in that same room, and he was so cool and so awesome to work with, and I was like total fanboying on him. I got in trouble for stealing my dad's car when I was 13. I mean, or taking it on a joyride when I was 13, and he grounded me, and I missed seeing the Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jeff Beck concert, that tour, and unfortunately Stevie Ray died like kind of soon after that. That's one of the ones that I regret, that joyride.
Well, I hope you learned your lesson, Eric.
I don't think I did.
I don't think I did either. My first concert was the Go-Go's.
That's awesome.
It's pretty rad.
Go-Go's.
I've had Kathy Valentine on the podcast.
Yeah, I think I saw that actually.
She's a badass. She wrote a great memoir too.
Throw out the name of your podcast real quick.
Called Salute the Songbird, and it's all female guests, female identifying guests in the industry, mostly artists and songwriters, but we've also talked to producers and executives, and it's really cool how, you think someone who's just got it all figured out, like Nancy Wilson, I was like, she's got the greatest career and she's achieved everything, but she has struggles and frustrations, even at this stage in her career, and it's not something that I take delight in hearing. I want people to not be struggling, but it also just really humanizes the effort and makes it accessible and makes me feel intrinsically connected to my community of artists.
Absolutely. Do you remember the first thing you ever learned on guitar?
I do. My dad, who does not play guitar, taught me this. Which could be Grease.
What other tune we got?
So this is from my forthcoming record, which I cut here in Nashville. My last record I did at Fame in Muscle Shoals with Ben Tanner of Alabama Shakes, and we wanted another go around, and it's a much more introspective record, but it's got cinematic themes, and this is one about just kind of appreciating the limited time we have here.
I know I ain't been around that long, but I still got a lot to say. Gonna break it to you gently, darling. Everything will be okay. Let's just take a moment to be right here, right now. It'd be a shame to let each other down. This might be our only time around. I used to do a lot of second guessing, sent me down a dead end road. I turned my back on my intuition, man, that's a slippery slope. Sometimes I may stumble, don't always get it right, but that ain't true of me and you tonight. Let's make this count. This might be our only time around. Sometimes I may stumble, don't always get it right, but that ain't true of me and you tonight. Let's just take a moment to be right here, right now. It'd be a shame to let each other down. Let's make this count. This might be our only time. This might be